Ladies and gentlemen, the Toronto Blue Jays are off to a historic start to the MLB season. And it's not just a historic start, it's a historic 96-game start for the Toronto Blue Jays this year. They have one of the best records in baseball, top 5 in the MLB. And since May 28th, they have been on an absolute roll, going 26-10 before the series against the White Sox, leading the MLB in that time frame today. We're going to go over all of the records that the Toronto Blue Jays have broken from the 2025 season. So if you guys are excited for today's video, make sure you like, subscribe, and let's get right into it. So, since May 28, the Blue Jays have a record of 26-10. At the time of this article, they have a record of 52-38. You know how insane that is? Since May 28, they have a record of 26-10. This is actually really interesting to me. So, the Blue Jays have swept 7 series through 90 games this year, including 4 since May 28th. Toronto only had 5 sweeps all of last season. That is insane. That either goes to show how bad we were last season or how good we are this season. Because for us to get 5 sweeps all of last season, that is really bad. But also for us to have 7 sweeps, we still have like 60 games left in the season. That is also insane. So I really don't know which one it is. George Springer. All right, George Springer is Toronto's MVP so far, turning back the clock after a poor 2024 showing. In the past 15 days, he has led the MLB with 21 RBIs. 11 of those 21 RBIs came against the Yankees, bro. He owns the Yankees. End of discussion. There's no more that needs to be said. And in the past 15 days, he is tied for first in home runs with 6 and an on-base percentage of 500. For the past 2 weeks, this man has been getting on base half of his plate appearances. That is absolutely absurd. Alejandro Kirk, another player that needs to be talked about. He has bounced back from a couple of down years after winning a Silver Slugger. He ranks second among catchers in batting average. He's one of the several players who stepped up to power the Blue Jays into first place. 301 is Alejandro Kirk's batting average. You know how insane? Let's take a look, actually. I'm going to count Will Smith as first. Will Smith has 248 at-bats, and he has a 323 average. The next person to have over 200 at-bats with over a 300 batting average is Alejandro Kirk with 287 at-bats and a 303 average. Nowadays, you rarely see back catchers hit for average. It's either for power or they can't hit at all because they're just that good at defense. Alejandro Kirk is a Platinum Glove finalist while hitting above 300. And we got him for $58 million over the next 5 years. We're going to look back in that in 3 to 4 years and say, how the hell did we do that? That is going to be the steal of the decade, potentially, from how much money this man is making. He's making nothing compared to his production, bro. So we talked about it a lot. The Blue Jays are getting it done without a lot of key players, all right? Anthony Santander has missed 40 games this season, almost half of the year, after signing a $92.5 million deal. All right, he has not played since May 29. It is July 18th, and he's not even expected to come back until August. Toronto has also gone through most of the season without Max Scherzer, but he's back now, and he's dominating, so I don't really care about that, all right? The Blue Jays had 53 wins before the All-Star break in 85 and 92. So they have broken that record. They have broken the record of most games won before the All-Star break with 55. And in 1992, when they had 53 wins before the break, that is the first year they won the championship before going back-to-back in 93. This is another big one. Despite topping the AL East, the Blue Jays only had a plus 12 run differential. Michael Kay and Jamie Campbell are going at it, bro. Because apparently the Blue Jays are not a first-place team if they have a small run differential. To put it into perspective, the Yankees, who are now sitting around third place, have a plus 95 as a run differential. It even says it here. Michael Kay struck a chord with the Blue Jays fans when he noticed the lopsided differentials and said Toronto was not a first-place team after the Blue Jays tied New York atop the division last week. Well, guess what, buddy? We're 3 full games ahead of your team, so shut your ass. You have an 83 run differential difference in us. But it doesn't really matter at the end of the day if we're going to go to October and y'all aren't, all right? So sit your ass down. Listen to this as well. Of the 26 wins during their hot streak since May 28th, the Blue Jays have won 14 of those by 1 or 2 runs. So, Michael K., to further expand on your statement here, this just goes to show that the Yankees cannot win shit in close games, all right? Because when you win stuff in close games, the run differential is low and you have more wins than the other team you're going against. All right, the Yankees can't close out because Devin Williams is a bum and you're just trying to hide the fact that your team is shit during the clutch. All right? If your team was not bad during the clutch, they'd have more wins than the Blue Jays because the run differential was so high, huh? Well, guess what? We have a 12 run differential because we win close games in the final innings. No team don't do that. So shut up. One explanation for Toronto's success in close games is playing situational baseball, which is something we did not do last year. And I'm so happy we're doing it this year because I was sitting on my couch screaming at the TV, asking myself, why didn't we bunt there? Why didn't we hit a sac fly here? Granted, you can't hit a sac fly on a man, but why didn't we do this here? Why didn't we do that here? This year, we are doing stuff when we're supposed to do stuff, and you love to see it. The Blue Jays have bought into small ball and manufacturing runs with 20 sacrifice bunts, which ties Kansas City for the major league lead. Toronto had only 14 sac bunts last season, and only 5 teams totaled 20 or more last season. The Blue Jays batters have also shown great discipline at the plate with just 605 strikeouts, fewest in the majors. So to put it in perspective, the Blue Jays are averaging 6.76 strikeouts per game, which, like I said in the article, is the fewest in the major leagues. The next best team is the Kansas City Royals with 6.91, a full 0.15 strikeouts per game, higher than the next best team. Toronto's lineup is consistently swinging for contact with a major league leading 2,489 batted balls. And the final thing we're here to talk about today is the dreaded 2016 season. The season where the Blue Jays went on the most spectacular playoff run in recent memory. We didn't win anything, but it was special in our hearts. This is the furthest into the season Toronto has held first place in the AL East since 2016, when the Blue Jays led the division in early September. If we can go into the playoffs without having to go through the wild card, we have a chance. Since 2016, we have not won a single wild card game. We are 0-5 in the Bone Vlad era. If we could make it past the wild card without even having to play a game in the wild card and get a solidified playoff spot, that would be amazing, just like we did in 2016. But that's all I got for you guys today. Those are all the records that the Toronto Blue Jays have broken throughout the MLB or current history, because this team is so goddamn good. I just had to come on here and talk about it. Shout out to Global News. They wrote this article. It was the Canadian Press. Yep, okay. With that being said, that's all I got for y'all today. So if you enjoyed, make sure you like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Peace.